Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, at this times we are called to meditate on one of the signs that Jesus performed in the Gospel according to John. John chapter 5, verses 1 to 14, speak about man who had been ill for 38 years. If you read the Synoptic Gospel, you will find Jesus' miracles, which are called as mighty works. The miracles of Jesus are thus the manifestation of God's power. The writer of the fourth Gospel does not call Jesus' mighty miracles as powerful deeds. Rather, they are called as signs. The Greek word used for sign is semeion, which offers an exploratory understanding of what Jesus did while he was at the pool of Bethesda. In fact, the writer invites the readers to go beyond the miracle itself. In other words, the sign serves as an interpretive framework. The sign interprets the life and the function of Jesus Christ. So in this sign, the writer illustrates the grace of God. The text depicts a phenomenon which was taking place in the pool of Bethesda, which attracted a huge number of vulnerable people, which included the sick, the blind, and the invalid. At times, it is reported that an angel would come and stir up the water. Whoever first got into the water was healed irrespective of disease that he heard on his body. There was a man who had been inflicted with sickness which lasted the duration of 38 years. He could not move into the water when the water was troubled. He was troubled by multiple risk factors which placed in a state of predicament or difficulty. Physically, he was disabled, and his prolonged sickness got debilitated his life. There was no energy that could mobilize his move into the water. His helplessness is evident in verse 7, which says, "I have no man to put me into the pool when the water is troubled." Socially, he was ostracized from the society. He did not find any help and support from others. He was deprived of human companionship and was left alone. Religiously, he was considered to be an unclean man. The Jewish society scrupulously constructed the walls of separations. It created a polarity of purity and impurity. The politics of holiness, as advocated by the Jewish leaders, treated him as unclean. His diseased condition earned dislikeness in the eyes of the people. Culturally, the invalid lived in a culture dominated by shame and honor. He was shamed and treated as dishonorable in the eyes of the people. As a result, he carried a disreputable existence. Emotionally, he was a wounded psyche. With these difficulties, he was lying at the side of the pool, waiting for a healing to take place. There are some important things that we learn from this episode. Number one, recognition and reachability. In Jesus' ministry, borders and margins assume the greatest significance. Jesus led festive activity and recognized the borders and margins. In the Synoptic Gospel, we can find that Jesus focused his ministry on the periphery of the society. Jesus' mission to Galilee assumed the greatest significance. It is interesting to note that borders and margin became the focal point of Jesus' mission. Jesus recognized the desperation of those who were placed on borders: the poor, the sick, invalid, the disgruntled and disinherited, and the disadvantaged. Since the man could not move, Jesus reached out to him with his loving solidarity. In this sign, the writer highlights the perfect display of God's grace. And this sign illustrates the grace of God. Grace of God is the unmerited favor of God given to all mankind. God gives something what we do not deserve. The man was placed in a vulnerable situation, and therefore he was incapacitated to move into the water when the water got troubled. His prolonged sickness placed in a state of pessimism. But Jesus reached out to this hopeless man, thereby manifesting his grace over his life. God reaches out to the place where we are. God recognizes the border of our existence, thereby coming to the place where we are. That is the grace of God. Someone defines grace as the active presence of Jesus Christ, mediated by the Holy Spirit to be the principle of life. On any occasions, particularly wedding, we go so early because according to society, people expectation and conventions, first one will get the best food, the last one will not get anything. First come, first serve. But here, the grace of God reaching out even to the last person. That is the most significant aspect of God's grace. The grace of God reaches out to the last person in the society. This time, I'd like to encourage you, whatever situation that you are in, whatever struggles that you go through in your life, be reminded of the grace of God, which is accessible to your situation. Jesus took the first step to reach out to this man. The next aspect I'd like to draw your attention to the duality of reanimation and restoration. There is a reanimation, restoration. Having reached out to the place where the invalid was, Jesus asked him a pertinent question. Do you want to get well? Are you interested in your healing? And this question might have been focused to arouse his attention and anticipation. His sickness was indicated by Greek word asthenia, which means a life long difficulty. But look at the response of this man. Jesus asked a right and relevant question. But Jesus' question was promptly related to his physical condition and his need. But man's reply was not relevant to the question that was put in front of him. The man says, I have no man to take me into the pool. It is not clear whether he wanted to use his sickness as a means of getting sympathy and attention from the people. Whatever might be the reason behind his response, Jesus wanted to make a difference over his body. Jesus told him, get up and walk. We know that he was inflicted with a disability for 38 years. His bones and muscles were calcified and twisted. And therefore Jesus commanded him and said, get up and walk. Get up your pallet and walk. Herein Jesus infused his power and dynamism. Another meaning of God's grace is the availability of his power. And this is what Jesus told the Apostle Paul in 2 Corinthians chapter 12. My grace is sufficient for thee. My power is made perfect in your weakness. The word of God constitutes life and power. Power is the inherent character of God. It is God's power that makes a difference. God's power as present in the life of Jesus Christ neutralizes the forces of negativity, pessimism, intractability. When Jesus wanted this man to take up his bed and walk, Jesus is the bondage breaker. He empowers the vulnerable and the disadvantaged in the society. Here, the life of invalid, Jesus brings his power. Jesus' power makes a difference over his life. There are two things reported. One is a certainty of miracle, the efficacy of the act. Immediately the miracle took place. He was healed immediately, and he got up and carried his bed. And the miracle was so immediate, and the miracle took place. So this indicates the central truth that there is no intractable thing God cannot do. There is a statement which always I make in my preaching: to fall is human, to lay fallen is devilish, but to say, get up and walk is divine. God is interested in our life, that He wants to get us from our fallen condition. Failure is not when you fall, it is when you do not get up. God reanimates our lives, and we need to be strengthened by the power of His grace. Finally, we find there was a response to renewal. The episode does not stop in healing itself. It moves on to the next core aspect, that is renewal. It is not a physical healing, but a spiritual healing. In other words, God is concerned with the total healing and the wellness of life. And this is the healing of mind, body, and spirit. God wants us to have engagement with His grace. What ring? what went wrong with the healed man. The next time, Jesus spotted him in the temple. He said to him, "You are well, sin no more, lest worse may come upon you." It is not clear whether the healed man committed sin against God after receiving healing, but the use of the present imperative with negative suggests that he was in the process of sinning. In other words, his life was not compatible with the act of healing. He failed to engage his life with the grace of God. Even he did not express his gratitude or appreciation to Jesus Christ. Rather, he wanted to implicate the name of Christ to the Jewish leader. The Bible says, man is not only sinner by what he is, but what he does. Man is a sinner by what he is and by what he does. Our life needs to witness to the renewing work of God. God renews our life. We are called to be new creation. God brings a fundamental change in our life. We cannot live our life according to flesh. We have to live according to the grace of God. The text further tells us the Pharisees were keeping people in bondage. They offered a life-negating forces such as legalism, traditionalism, and rituals. They built a coffin box and placed Jesus in the coffin box. They did not want Jesus to act, thereby bringing change in the lives of the hopeless people. They were traditionalists. They were not open to the change that God offered to their lives. God invites us to experience life renewal. This beautiful sign illustrates the fundamental truth. Number one, God reaches out to the place where you are. God's grace reanimates and restores your life, and God's grace renews our life for a betterment. May God bless you as you continue to live according to the grace of God. Amen.